So here we are looking at this two-part finale for Season 1. Originally they wanted to have a four-parter close out the season, but because of scheduling issues related to that, they couldn't have anything larger than a two-parter. So Before the Storm was basically treated as a prelude of sorts, setting up the scenario and leading naturally into the arc, but it at least wrapped up the plot to investigate the Predacon base and to escape without reigniting the war, so in a sense, could be considered a standalone story enough to justify that. If you missed our last episode, the Maximals and the Predacons have a truce because it turns out that the aliens responsible for all the weirdness in this place are coming back, and probably not in a very good mood. And sure enough, start of the episode, Rhinox is picking up a sign that they are approaching. So Airraiser and Rat Trap are being sent in, and Optimus himself is going to try and catch up with them. Meanwhile, we see that all of Tarantulas' plans were part of a plot to escape before the aliens arrive. No fool he. He knows that Megatron is going to do one of two things: try to steal the alien power for himself, or try to destroy them and take their power for himself. It's generally the kind of thing that evil masterminds do, and it usually winds up with their minions being dead.
Doesn't matter. There are only 4 rules you need to remember. Make the plan, execute the plan, expect the plan to go off the rails, throw away the plan.
The problem is that for his plan to work, Tarantulas needs a stasis pod, and there aren't any due to land for quite a while. But Black Arachnia suggests going to the Maximal base because they likely have stasis pods that would be compatible with his plan. And with them now heading off to deal with the crisis, the two of them should be able to sneak inside, get to the pod, and escape. Little does he know that someone is plotting revenge, Waspinator, who's back online, but his chances of getting to pull off said plot are roughly on par with me getting a no-limits Visa card with a sexual favors reward package. Instead, Megatron sends him off on an errand. Relevant to the alien menace, I mean, he's not thwarting Waspinator's revenge because he needs another gallon of soy milk. Anyway, Airraiser and Rat Trap finally arrive at the site where they find a stable energon crystal.
It's a field generator, and it's building up tremendous.
It seems to react to exposition. After taking her out, it tosses Rat Trap aside and seals up the place, trapping her inside, while outside, Rat Trap suffers the indignity of being ambushed by Waspinator, so he won't be much help. Inside, Airraiser is trying to communicate with the aliens. I think it's safe to say that the talks have hit a rough patch. The same attitude is going on outside when Rat Trap brings up the ceasefire. But again, this seems to be operating literally. You stop firing. Punching in the face, though, is perfectly fine. But this is a mistake on Waspinator's part, because he assumes that a fistfight is going to go to whoever is bigger and stronger, or perhaps who might have better martial skills, forgetting that he's fighting an asshole, and assholes fight dirty. Oh, right in the lug nuts. Optimus shows up just as Waspinator goes scurrying off, clutching his crotch, as he usually exits fights, and Optimus orders Rat Trap to try to cut through the barrier. No dice. But Megatron shows up with Terrorsaur and Scorponok. The ceasefire is still on, so instead, they actually help, with Scorponok firing off a toxic sting that rips open the barrier, which I think might actually be the first useful thing he's done in any of the episodes we've covered. But Optimus insists that only he and Rat Trap head inside so they can try to find Airraiser. It doesn't take long. She changed back to bird mode to end the electrocution thing, so Optimus has Rat Trap drag her to safety while he stays to answer whatever questions the aliens may have. Uh-oh, I have a feeling an anal probe is coming. The aliens appear to be examining him with some kind of green field, while Rat Trap is quite happy leaving Optimus there if it means that he can get the hell out of here. Of course, now that Optimus is dealing with the aliens, Megatron has no need for a truce, and so, to the surprise of no one, he is now quite prepared to blow away the two escaping Maximals. I was about to say that I hope the next truce is handled better than this one, but I just realized that, by definition, it would be impossible for it not to be. While that's going on, Black Arachnia and Tarantulas have reached the shield around the Maximal base, but Black Arachnia brought something to let them in. Thanks to the power of ragtime, it gets them inside, but little do they know that Inferno has been following them on Megatron's orders. But their antics will have to wait because Optimus is about to have a conversation with the aliens.
Unicron!
Oh, shit. That is a... Wow, it's like you prepare yourself for the worst news possible, then the doctor walks in and says, no, it's even worse than that. Is it cancer? Oh, if only you just had cancer. You got, like, ultra cancer. You have the kind that is spread to other people, so long as they show you affection in some way. Oh, and then your flesh melts. So yeah, finding out that the alien menace you're worried about is Unicron, you're on Dante's ninth circle of fucked right now. Well, thank God for small mercies. Turns out it's not the real Unicron. The aliens just took an image from Optimus Primal's mind in order to speak to him. You know, put him at ease. They're real considerate that way. Hey, how about if we have a nice relaxing conversation with Cthulhu? The aliens say that, whether intentional or not, Optimus and the rest of the Transformers have all contaminated this world, screwed up their experiments, and they've decided to just terminate the whole damn thing and call it a day. So the place starts acting really weird, and during the distraction, Rat Trap and Air Razor deal with the Predacons while Optimus escapes, although only for the moment. Already a beam travels up and hits one of the moons, burning off the surface to reveal it's actually a construct, and the only one that looks even more worrisome than a Death Star. To add injury to pending injury, the stasis pods all get zapped too and fall out of the sky. So that'll add a nice little wrinkle to this mess. But that's all it will be. Everything becomes just a wrinkle once you realize your enemy is the sky. Rhinox is busy monitoring this, and so is unprepared when he gets ambushed by Black Arachnia and Tarantulas, who then take out Dinobot, leading us into Part 2. So, Part 1 of this was essentially Prelude to Armageddon. Even Cheetor and Tigatron notice that things are looking pretty bad right now.
Optimus Primal to Cheetor and Tigatron. Do you copy?
Tigatron here.
I'll explain at the base. Head there fast. Code X.
Oh, that's got to be bad. X is the cool letter. You only use X when things are really serious. At the Predacon base, we get a good view of why Megatron is in charge. Because the other two are idiots.
They're leaving. We scared them away.
Yeah, they possess ultimate power, but ran off terrified when they saw you were getting beat up by someone from Battle of the Planets. Scorponok is even dumber, but you've probably already figured that out by now. He's the only one who couldn't figure out which hand was his left, even if you gave him 3 tries. The moon opens up now and forms this... Well, you can see this special construct here. Really looks to be up to no good, doesn't it?
Seal the base and charge all shields. I will see to the rest. Computer, activate program 0 hour.
Oh, damn, that's even better than Code X. I'd say this round goes to the Predacons on cool names alone. The program lets him know what Tarantulas and Black Arachnia are getting up to, which is modifying that pod for the escape. Black Arachnia comments that it may be a little snug in there, but perhaps romantic. But Tarantula's shoes are off, probably worried that he might make a mistake and do it with her, and then she'll eat him. So she's just going to skip all the foreplay and go straight to the killing him part. Only Inferno shoots her first, taking Tarantulas prisoner for a few seconds until Tarantulas tries blasting him, but Inferno lives up to his name and sets the guy on fire. I guess we'll have to hope whatever Megatron wanted Tarantulas to do is already finished, or this plan is toast. Much like Tarantulas himself, actually.
No! What has that fool done?
Yeah, I think you're going to need another name for 0 hour, like Operation Boned or Mission Impossibler, since it somehow managed to get even more impossible than it was before. As if to demonstrate that, Inferno tries messing around with what Tarantulas was doing, which is rather like watching a dog try to comprehend Wi-Fi. He doesn't get far. Black Arachnia comes around and jumps him, taking away his gun and shooting him in the face with it. Damn. Hell hath no fury like a woman scorned, but she is fucking Pollyanna next to Black Arachnia. Unlike Inferno, she's smart enough to know that fiddling with the pod won't magically make it work, so she plugs into Tarantulas' head in order to get the data on how to reprogram the thing so that she can escape the destruction of this world, with the downside that she has to get into that crazy psychopath's head, which is no place anybody wants to go, as she learns firsthand. If I'm shocked by what comes out of someone's mouth, the last thing I want to do is get any closer to the source. While that drama is playing out, the Maximals have returned and discovered Rhinox and Dinobot webbed to the ceiling, so those two are quickly put in the Heal Me containers, or whatever they're called. And of course the rest of them go hunt down the intruders, but Optimus stays on the bridge to monitor the alien super device, which is now activated and is beginning to cook the planet, with the intention of igniting the energon deposits all over the place, which is probably not going to do any favors for anyone that happens to be on it.
Brilliant! They're causing a chain reaction which will rip this planet to atoms and destroy all traces of them. Simply to deal with us. What sheer ruthlessness! What disregard for sentient life! I rather like these aliens.
It's good that he's at least willing to be objective about his own destruction. You have to admire his professionalism, if nothing else.
Megatron will save us!
I think not. I've reserved that task for Tarantulas.
Would now be a bad time to mention he's dead? You know what? I think I'll save that for after the planet's destruction. There's no sense facing the apocalypse in a bad mood, right? Things are also deteriorating all over the Maximal base, and with Rhinox out for the foreseeable future, figuring out a technical solution to this is pretty much impossible. But with Black Arachnia captured and the pod's function revealed, Optimus plans to fly the pod up there and use the transwarp to explode like a massive bomb and take out the alien moon thing. So after a touching goodbye, it's time to ride that coffin into outer space. Hardcore. You know, it might be easier if you were to maneuver that thing outside of the death ray. It's just a thought. But as he reaches the point where he is planning to eject and let the bomb take out the moon thing, we discover that this is what Megatron's plan was. Apparently, he always planned to let Tarantulas launch, but instead of escaping, to steer it towards the aliens and blow them up. And Tarantulas as well for his treachery, but he's quite willing to let Optimus get atomized instead. That's probably was much more than what he was hoping he could actually pull off, actually. It's like falling out of a building, and not only do you survive the fall, but you do so by landing on Kim Jong-un. You couldn't wish for that kind of luck. So, with Optimus on board, the pod blows up, the alien moon thing is destroyed, and Megatron is left to gloat, finishing with a "The end?" ? This is a great way to wrap up the first season, playing up Megatron as the chess master, playing both the Maximals and his treacherous minions in order to satisfy his own ends. While we know that ultimately this is for some evil plan, how that plan would resolve itself is left as a mystery. Not the kind that we can solve, though, but it doesn't feel like a cheat either. The comedy of the first episode is offset by the seriousness of the final two-parter, a bit of a breather before the seriousness takes over. Also, over those 3 episodes, we got to see those 4 new characters, Tigatron, Airraiser, Black Arachnia, and Inferno, take on a larger role in the story without usurping it. The idea of Megatron utilizing the treachery of his own minions also fits in with what we had seen this season, like the way he had allowed one of his rebellious minions to be leader long enough to prove that no one else could properly lead the Predacons. Here, having combined that not only with serving his own plans, but getting revenge at the same time. The story really felt like it was shaking up the dynamic here, fitting given what was happening with Season 2, and showed that they weren't trapped doing the same old stuff, that there was going to be a degree of evolution along the way, which is good because after a while, Season 1 did start to feel like they were a bit stuck in a rut. We'll be seeing next month how things change when we look at Season 2 with Aftermath. All hail the Overlord! All hail the Overlord!
Waspinator not want to be destroyed! Waspinator has plans!